Welcome back to Cryptoclarity. We've laid the foundation by understanding what Bitcoin is, how money evolved over time, and why Bitcoin represents a revolutionary step in human history. Now let's go much deeper. We'll explore how Bitcoin actually works under the hood, what keeps it secure, how you can safely store it, the process of mining, how transactions are verified, what governments think about it, and even where Bitcoin might be headed in the next decade. So let's dive in. At the heart of Bitcoin is something called the blockchain. You've probably heard the word thrown around in news headlines, but what exactly does it mean? A blockchain is basically a digital ledger, a list of transactions that is shared across thousands of computers worldwide. Instead of being stored in one place like a bank server, it's distributed. This means no single person or entity owns the ledger. Everyone participating has a copy, and everyone keeps it updated in real time. Each page of this ledger is called a block. When enough transactions happen, they're grouped together into a block. That block is then verified and locked in place. Once a block is confirmed, it becomes a permanent part of the chain of previous blocks. Hence, the name blockchain. The blockchain is what makes Bitcoin immutable. In other words, you can't go back and erase or edit history. If Alice sends Bob 1 Bitcoin, that transaction is etched into the blockchain forever. Now here's the genius part. Bitcoin uses cryptography to make sure all of this works without trust. Digital signatures prove ownership, and cryptographic hashing ensures that nobody can tamper with the blocks without being detected. This brings us to our next topic. Mining is often misunderstood. People imagine miners with pickaxes digging digital gold. The reality is a bit different. In Bitcoin, miners are special computers competing to solve complex math problems. Why? Because solving these problems allows them to add a new block to the blockchain. Think of miners as accountants competing to update the ledger. But why would they bother spending electricity and computer power to do this? Simple. Rewards. Every time a miner successfully adds a block, they receive two things. A block reward in the form of newly created Bitcoin. Transaction fees from all the transactions inside that block. This is how new Bitcoin enters circulation. In 2009, the reward was 50 Bitcoins per block. Today, after multiple halving events, the reward is much smaller, currently 3.125 Bitcoins as of 2024. Every 4 years, this reward is cut in half, which means that over time, fewer and fewer Bitcoins are released. This scarcity is one reason Bitcoin is often compared to digital gold. Just like gold is hard to mine and limited in supply, Bitcoin is also limited. In fact, there will never be more than 21 million Bitcoins in existence. That cap cannot be changed without the entire network agreeing to it, which is practically impossible. Now you might wonder, if mining is about solving puzzles, what stops someone from cheating? Great question. The puzzles themselves are designed to make cheating nearly impossible. To change one block, you would need to redo all the math for that block and every block that comes after it, on more than half the computers in the world, all at the same time. That's why Bitcoin is considered nearly unhackable. Now let's say you want to own Bitcoin. Where do you keep it? That's where wallets come in. A Bitcoin wallet isn't like the leather one in your pocket. It's actually software or hardware that stores your cryptographic keys. There are two main types of wallets. Hot wallets. These are connected to the internet like apps on your phone or desktop. They're convenient but more vulnerable to hacks. Cold wallets. These are offline devices like a USB stick or special hardware wallet. They're much safer because they're not exposed to the internet. Your wallet doesn't actually hold Bitcoin. Instead, it holds the keys that allow you to access Bitcoin stored on the blockchain. Think of the blockchain as the bank vault, and your keys as the only way to unlock your personal deposit box. Lose your keys, and you lose access to your Bitcoin forever. This is why wallet security is one of the most important topics for any Bitcoin owner. Now let's break down what happens when you send Bitcoin. Say Alice wants to send Bob 0.5 BTC. She opens her wallet app, enters Bob's Bitcoin address, and hits send. Her wallet creates a digital message signed with her private key that says, I, Alice, am sending 0.5 BTC to Bob. That message is broadcast to the Bitcoin network. Miners pick it up, verify that Alice actually has the funds, and then include it in a block. Once the block is confirmed, the transaction is officially added to the blockchain. At this point, Bob sees 0.5 BTC in his wallet. Done. No banks, no intermediaries, no waiting 3 business days. Now that you know how Bitcoin works, let's talk about how people actually use it. First, you can buy and sell Bitcoin on cryptocurrency exchanges like Coinbase, Binance, or Kraken. You deposit fiat money, like dollars or euros, and trade it for Bitcoin. You can also sell Bitcoin for cash. Second, you can use Bitcoin as a payment method. Thousands of online stores, hotels, and even airlines accept it. There are also Bitcoin debit cards that let you spend Bitcoin anywhere Visa or MasterCard are accepted. Third, many people buy Bitcoin as a form of investment. They see it as digital gold, a hedge against inflation and government mismanagement of money. Of course, Bitcoin's price is extremely volatile. It has gone from pennies to tens of thousands of dollars, and it swings dramatically. But despite crashes over the long term, Bitcoin has trended upward. No discussion would be complete without addressing the risks. Critics of Bitcoin often point to volatility. The price can rise or fall 20% in a single day. Energy consumption. Mining requires enormous amounts of electricity, leading to environmental concerns. Regulation. Governments around the world are still figuring out how to handle Bitcoin. Some embrace it, others ban it. Security risks. If you don't protect your wallet, you could lose everything to hackers. Despite these issues, Bitcoin continues to gain traction globally. Bitcoin was the first cryptocurrency, but it's not the only one. Since 2009, over 20,000 other coins have been created. Some of the biggest include Ethereum, focused on smart contracts and decentralized apps. Litecoin, a faster, lighter version of Bitcoin. Ripple, XRP, designed for fast, cheap cross-border payments. Stablecoins, like USDT or USDC, which are pegged to the value of the US dollar. However, none have achieved Bitcoin's level of decentralization, security, or adoption. This is why many still call Bitcoin the king of crypto. Where does Bitcoin go from here? Some experts believe it could one day replace gold as a global store of value. Others think governments will create their own digital currencies and regulate Bitcoin out of mainstream use. But one thing is clear: Bitcoin has already changed the world. It has sparked conversations about money, freedom, decentralization, and trust. Whether it becomes the money of the future or just a stepping stone, its impact is undeniable. So to recap, money has evolved from gold to paper to digital. Fiat money depends on trust in governments. Bitcoin is decentralized, scarce, and secure. Mining keeps the system running. Wallets give you control of your funds. Bitcoin transactions are fast, borderless, and censorship-resistant. The journey of Bitcoin is still just beginning. Thanks for joining me here on Cryptoclarity. In the next episodes, we'll go hands-on. How to buy your first Bitcoin, how to set up a secure wallet, how to mine Bitcoin from home, and how to avoid common mistakes beginners make. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Until next time, this is Cryptoclarity, cutting through the noise to bring you clear, simple answers in the world of crypto.